goes Davis.
Oh my God!
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome in, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Dream Wager, episode 374 on this lovely Saturday morning, March 16th, 2024. As always, I'm your host, D-Rock, and joining me is our NBA guru, my partner in crime, Elvis Acosta. E, how you doing today, kid?
Dude, we feeling good, dude. It's a lovely, damn near spring, early spring. Good, got some good weather outside, people. I'm locked and loaded for today, dude. Loaded show today for the guys listening, all the people listening. Gonna attack the free agency market. Still tons of talents left over, people.
Yeah.
But we're gonna attack that. We got an NBA slate, pretty good NBA slate. Then we got an NL Central future deal. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I got a loaded episode. We didn't record Wednesday. Some personal things came up, but we got a loaded show for you guys today. Like Elvis said, NFL free agency honestly has been insane. We'll talk about all the moves for each team. We'll hit the association. We got a nice little slate on the board today. We got some picks and props for you. Some college conference tournament. I got some plays. I've been diving back into college as well. And then we'll continue our MLB preview content with the NL Central. Only one more division. And then spring opening day is about almost a little over a week away. So we'll continue our MLB content there. But Elvis, no better way to start NFL free agency. We will, I was going to go from like the last time we spoke till yesterday, the latest news, but I was thinking maybe we could just do team by team and kind of sort it out that way. It's not in alphabetical order, just my notes. It's all scrambled. So we'll start out west in Seattle, okay? We'll start with the Seattle Seahawks. Couple moves they made. I think the biggest one is they traded for a quarterback, Redskin Sam Howell, in a pick swap with the Commanders. Seahawks received Sam Howell, a fourth-round draft pick, number 102, and a sixth-round pick, 179. Redskins, they receive a third-round pick, number 78, and a fifth-round, 152. Apparently, from all the reports that I've read, Seattle's always liked Sam Howell. Now they think he could actually come in and kind of compete with Geno Smith. Do you like the trade?
Do I like the trade for the 49 for the Washington Commanders? I like the trade. For Seattle, you let Drew Lock walk away. To me, is Sam Howell an upgrade from Drew Lock? I don't think so.
Really?
At the end of the day, whose ceiling is higher? It's Sam Howell's. I'll give you that deal.
Yeah.
But is he gonna be better than Drew Lock as a backup? Because as of right now, he's the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't see him beating out Geno Smith for the starting job. So let's just say right now as a backup quarterback, who will be a better backup for the Seattle Seahawks in 2024? I believe it's Drew Lock. We saw him win the game against the Eagles. Yeah, I understand the secondary was horrendous, especially that part of the season. But we saw what he was able to do against that Eagles team on the final drive with a minute to go. So I just feel like he's already there. He knows the system. Somewhat understand you got a new head coach and everything. But still, is Sam Howell that big of an upgrade over Drew Lock? I don't think so. So I think Washington actually got a good deal in there. And just because they're clearing out, they got more picks. And they're sitting at number 2 deal. We already know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think it actually is an upgrade I think both sides won. I think it was a good trade for the Redskins. They get 2 draft picks back. They get rid of Sam Howell. They knew he wasn't the future, and now at number 2, they could lock in at whatever quarterback they want. I doubt it's going to be Caleb Williams, but
maybe they send one of those picks they swapped over, maybe that third-round pick with the second with something else, trade up to 1, and Chicago just moves 1 back. And Chicago could still trade the second overall.
Yeah, literally. So I don't know. I honestly think they might go Jaden Daniels, if I'm being honest. I think they go with the LSU kid.
Let's not forget Cliff Kingsbury, who's the OC in Washington right now.
That's Cliff Kingsbury.
What were Kingsbury doing last year? He was a quarterback assistant coach or assistant offensive coordinator for
Yeah.
USC. Come on, Dale.
But
Come on. Come
I
on,
don't
Dale.
know if they. I don't know if Chicago passes him up.
No, I
And
understand
that's
that
the big.
part.
Yeah,
I understand that part, but I'm just saying from Washington's standpoint, you don't
maybe they
go
can move
out and
up.
make yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying you don't go up and make that higher if Caleb Williams ain't number one on your big board.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's one on a lot of people's big board. It's just what's Chicago going to do, I think. And we're still wondering about Justin Fields. With all that's going on, we still don't know about Justin Fields. And it's very interesting. But I do like the move. I like the trade. I think Sam Howell can compete. I agree. I don't think he'll beat out Geno Smith, but I do think
This
he could.
year.
Yeah, this year. But I
Yeah.
do think his ceiling is higher. We kind of know what Drew Lock is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Sam Howell, we really don't know what he is. Like we saw a lot, he put up a lot of stats with Eric Bieniemy. Now here, we'll see what he could do. Hopefully he gets an opportunity. But I do like to trade for both teams. Seahawks also they agreed to terms with former Browns offensive lineman Nick Harris on a 1-year deal. He appeared in 40 games in like 3 or 4 years with the Browns. So little protection for Geno Smith, but that's all that the Seahawks did. Let's go to the next team. Let's just get him out of the way. The New York Jets. We'll start with you know,
You got to
last
tackle.
night.
You got to
Yeah,
tackle.
we revamped our offensive line.
Yeah.
We agreed with 8-time Pro Bowler, best left tackle on the board, Tyron Smith. He signed the Jets 1-year deal with incentives, could be worth up to $20 million. We also traded for Morgan Moses for the Baltimore Ravens as well. So our projected offensive line, injuries aside, hopefully not. Left tackle Tyron Smith, left guard John Smith, who we got from the Ravens as well. He was another free agent signing. Our center Joe Tippmann, our right guard Elijah Vera Tucker, who's coming off an injury, and then the right tackle that we just traded for Morgan Moses. So, the Ravens, they get a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick from us for Morgan Moses, but he's going to be the right tackle. And, he started all 16 games for Jets in 2021. So he is coming back home. He's an OG of the game. What else did we do? We re-signed our punter, Thomas Morse, 2-year deal, $5 million. He's a G. I love Thomas Morse. We signed former defensive tackle from the 49ers, Javon Kinlaw, to a 1-year deal as well. So we revamped our offensive line. We got a defensive tackle. Unfortunately, we'll get to the Eagles in a minute. We lost Brees Huff. Man, that one stung. I'm not gonna lie. It was a homegrown guy that we drafted, and we just couldn't give him the money that he wanted, if I'm being honest. And it was very unfortunate. You knew his market was going to be high, and he went on the first day, which, to be honest, is not surprising. But and now number 10 is wide open. I feel like at number 10 for us in the draft, we could go a bunch of different ways now. Apparently, there are reports Mike Williams is going to come into the Jets on Monday for a visit. If we sign Mike Williams, we revamped the offensive line. We could go tight end at number 10. We could even go another offensive lineman.
That's too high.
Brock Bowers is legit, though, kid.
I know, but 10th overall, Dale.
I know, but the kid is fantastic. And then we're set. Bearing injury, we're set. Offensive line, and I know a lot of people still want to go offensive line at 10, which I don't mind. I think that add a little depth for Aaron Rodgers. God forbid someone gets hurt. But we need a wide receiver. We could even go if we don't land Mike Williams, which I don't know we will. I really wanted Keenan Allen, if I'm being honest, but we'll get to the Bears in a sec. But if we don't land a wide receiver, kid, I don't even mind going a wide receiver at 10. So there's a lot of different ways the Jets could go at 10, but I like what they did so far. They revamped the offensive line. They got another defensive tackle, and we re-signed our punter, which he was one of the best punters in the league last year. So you like what the Jets did?
Yeah, Dale, I would say Brown from the Patriots is a better left tackle right now than Smith, just because age. But Tyron Smith, he's at one point he was one of the best left tackles in all the game. It's a little past his prime, Dale, but on a 1-year deal, for basically less than $20 million. I think it was a bang for your buck. Because at the end of the day, if healthy, he is one of the best left tackles in football. He's just a little past his prime.
Hmm.
And then besides that, Dill, I just feel like letting not letting Huff go, but just basically not trying to match the offer or something like that. It possibly can come back and hurt you. Let's just say if like you get a little thin come late in the season
Hmm.
at the linebacker position, but if y'all stay healthy at the linebacker position, then I think y'all be just
They better pray William McDonald pans
fine.
out because no, seriously,
Not
that's
for real. He needs to have a better sophomore year, absolutely.
and the reason he didn't really play that much is because Brees Huff is just a fucking beast, and the pressure that he led the league in quarterback pressure, and that's kind of what the Eagles struggled with, getting pressure in that defense, and we'll talk about them in a sec. But great pickup for them. We just couldn't give him the money that he wanted, and unfortunately, we let a homegrown guy out. But yeah, they better pray William McDonald pans out for us, because if he doesn't, they're gonna look back and be like, "Damn, we literally let this guy walk out of the building for us." So I like what the Jets did. I'll give him a C. I'll give him a C. I thought it was okay. I agree. I think Tyron Smith is a little past his prime, but he's an 8-time Pro Bowler. Like back in the
Yeah,
day,
he's
was one of the
still a
best
top
left
10,
tackle.
still a top
Yeah.
10 tackle off the rip.
So, yeah, thank God we shored up the offensive line as best as we could. Let's go to the Indianapolis Colts. They just brought back everyone. They re-signed linebacker Zaire Franklin, 3 years, $31 million extension. They re-signed a defensive tackle Grover Stewart, 3 years, $39 million. They brought back Kenny Moore II, their corner, 3 years, $30 million. That makes him the highest paid nickel corner in NFL history. They re-signed 5 of their own players. Michael Pittman Jr., 3 years, $70 million. Kenny Moore, I just said, 3 years, $30. Grover Stewart, 3 years, $39. Roberto Sanchez, 3 years, $7.5. And Tariq Lewis, 2 years, $2 million. They're bringing back a lot of their homegrown talent. They also signed former Dolphin defensive tackle Rakeem Davis, 2 years, $14 million. And I think I buried the lead, but they're bringing in former Brown quarterback and NFL comeback player of the year Joe Flacco to Indy to back him up. It's a 1-year deal worth up to $8.7 million, 4.5 guaranteed. He's gonna back up Anthony Richardson coming off an injury. I like what the Colts did. I really do.
Yeah, Dale, we saw the Colts sneakily almost sneak into the playoffs last year. They're a very good team coming out of nowhere, led by Gardner Minshew. So why not bring it back? Reset it with Anthony Richardson, and hey, maybe you got a small chance at the division. At the end of the day, we know what Houston represents, what their future looking like. With Jacksonville, we saw what they were at the beginning of the season. We saw how they were at the end of the season. So if I'm the coach, I'm gonna just saddle right back up, which they did, and let's attack it with Anthony Richardson. I'll give them a small chance to win the division the way they are constructed right now. I like the talent they have. I like the defense. They got Jonathan Taylor locked in. Just so can Anthony Richardson stay healthy, make it 17 plus games. Still, I think the Colts are a borderline playoff team if healthy.
Yeah, 100%. I love the defense. I love them bringing back all their homegrown players. They believe in them. And, even God forbid, hopefully he doesn't, because I do think he could have a good career if he just stops running a little bit. Anthony
That's coaching.
Richardson, I know.
Bro, he's like 190, bro. Stop running the ball.
But we've seen Joe Flacco come in and win some games. Yes, he's going to throw some interceptions, but he's going to come in and he'll win you some games, especially with what they have offensively, the Colts. I like them. I like what they did. I like them bringing in a veteran quarterback, a Super Bowl winning champion, Joe Flacco. I like their defense. This is a good team. I really think they should be live to win the division next year. Watch out for Houston, obviously, again. But
Respect.
Yeah, you got to respect them. But I do like what the Colts did this past week. Let's talk about the Lions. Not so much, but they re-signed their guard, Graham Glasgow, 3 years, $20 million deal, 9.5 guaranteed. So they re-signed one of their guards. And they got cornerback Carlton Davison, Buccaneers 2024 6th-round pick. So they got a nice corner to to help them in the secondary. But they didn't really do too much, the Lions.
Yeah, Dale. One takeaway, I'm gonna say the Lions. I'm not gonna say they failed. I'm just not gonna give them an above average pass. I'm gonna give them a C minus still, just because to me, I understand they got Cortland Davis in the Buccaneers Super Bowl champ, by the way, but to me, you let somebody walk who was a difference maker, who was a leader in that locker room when C.J. Gardner Johnson. I understand that he was
Yeah.
hurt for majority of the season, but C.J. Gardner Johnson, he's a pretty good cornerback though. He's a vet. I think he could speak out. He could lead that secondary as well. So I just wish they would have kept them in the room instead of Carter Davis. Bringing in a newcomer. I like C.J. Gardner Johnson though. Guess who got him? Went back to
The Eagles.
Philadelphia. So
Yep.
that's another great signing by the Eagles. But the Lions at the end of the day, they just gotta keep on keeping on. If they just
Yeah.
stay healthy, draft well, they'll be all right. So I'm not gonna kill them, but all I'm saying is you just they replace C.J. Gardner Johnson, but to me they shouldn't let him go in the first place.
Yeah, I think offensively, I don't worry about this team. I think they will put up a lot of
Not at
points.
all.
It's
It's
just the defense.
still one of the best offensive lines in all of football. Got one of the
Yeah.
best running games in all of football. And Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery have arguably the best tight end in football already. I'm not gonna say he's the best, but he's making the case. And then you got Amon St. Brown, Jameis Williams. The
Yeah.
offense is fine.
Yeah, offense is fine. They need to worry about the defense, especially the secondary, which, it is wonder that they let C.J. Gardner Johnson go. But, they bring in Carlton Davis, and I think for the low, too,
Hey,
Bucks.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw a name out there though, just not to cut you off though. This is a young team that could possibly go places. If there's a guy in the secondary I wanna give a 2-year deal to, it's Stephon Gilmore. Right as of right now, he's on the open market deal. We know he can still play. He had a tremendous season for the Cowboys last season. I want to bring in a veteran coach, a veteran players coach who could still be a lockdown corner and still prop up some of my defensive back on the field. If I'm Detroit Lions, I know I could get Stephon Gilmore for a fair number. Maybe not the best deal because he's still, Pro Bowler ish quarterback, even in his back end of his prime. But if the Lions could get somebody like Stephon Gilmore, that'll make headways. So a couple of teams in
Yeah.
that division will be like, oh shit,
A little past his prime, but I do agree that Stephon Gilmore is still a good corner, and he brings that veteran leadership into the locker room, especially with a young team like the Lions have. So yeah, that's a good shout. And then the Bucks on the other end receive Lions a 2024 third round pick for Carlton Davis, and then they also re-sign running back Chase Edmonds to a 1-year deal to back up Rashard White. So nothing too crazy for the Bucks either. Obviously, we know they re-signed Mike Evans, they re-signed Baker Mayfield. We talked about already, but not really making some headwaves.
Yeah, they got what they needed to get done before the start of free agency, which were number one Baker Mayfield, number two Mike Evans, or number one Mike Evans. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give them a B plus, an A, just because they added and they also honestly kept their two best pieces, and
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans. So give credit to Tampa; they're still live in the division.
I still think they're the best team in the division.
Top to on paper, possibly, yeah. They have the
Let's
best
go.
defense in the division, so
Yeah. Let's go to the Bengals. I think they're a very interesting team. They unfortunately, they did tag T Higgins, but then a few days ago after that, he requests a trade. Apparently, Higgins loves Cincinnati. He hoped to return them on a long-term deal, but he's disappointed that the team and his management had not any talks about a long-term contract extension since March of 2023. So he's ready to move on, find a new home. There have been teams linked to him. Your team has been linked to him. Nothing official yet, but bias aside, where is a good fit for T Higgins? Because he's a good receiver.
Anywhere he could be a number one at, Dill. If I'm T Higgins, I'm looking somewhere I could win and still be a number one. If I could if I could land somewhere like in Houston, be alongside Tank Dell, that would be a nice fit. If I could go, because at the end he still wants to play with a good quarterback too. If I
Of
could go to
course.
Arizona, do something there. Be a true number one in Arizona, something like that, Dill. I just feel like he wants that long-term deal. He wants that security. At the end, you can't fault the Cincinnati Bengals for not giving it just because who's on the pipeline next year. It's Jamar
Yeah,
Chase.
Jamar Chase. They have to give him the bag.
And he might just set the all-time NFL record with the bag. So.
Behind Justin Jefferson.
whoever gets paid first or gets paid last,
Yeah,
because they're
yeah, yeah.
both going to be up. So
Yeah.
one is going to set it, and then the other one's going to break it. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, it all depends who gets the deal done first. So if I'm Cincinnati, if I had to pick T Higgins or Jamar Chase to let go, it's T Higgins. I'm sorry about that, but hey, I'm trying to get at least a second round pick for T Higgins. T Higgins is a true. He could be a true number one. He just wasn't a true number one in Cincinnati just because of Jamar Chase. So if I'm
Yeah.
Cincinnati, I'm gonna wait to at least draft day deal. I'm not trying to let him go for nothing cheap because he might end up just letting him go for a third or fourth round pick. Who knows?
Yeah, we never know, and a lot of change. We even saw AJ Brown get traded on draft night, so I think that's a good shout. They might just wait it out and see. Hey,
A
let's
team gets
let's
desperate. Their
yeah,
number one goes off the board. They're like, fuck. Now we need,
we,
maybe the
we'll go
hit.
trade. Yeah.
We'll give him a second and a fourth.
Bengals. They also improved the running back room. They signed former Colt Zach Moss to a 2-year, $8 million deal, much less than what they were going to pay Joe Mixon. They released Joe Mixon. He signs with the Texans. We'll talk about that in a sec, but much cheaper. 2-year, $8 million deal, 4.25 guaranteed in year one. They also signed former Patriot tight end Mike Gesicki to a 1-year deal worth up to about $3.5 million. So they get a tight end and they get a much cheaper running back as well.
Yeah, I think they're gonna regret that decision come mid-season, just because Joe Mixon was an anchor for this offense. Let's not forget, this is, I think, every season since Joe Burrow been in the league, I think he's went over for over 1,000 scrimmage yards still. So I just have a feeling Zach Moss, he's a good piece, but is he gonna give you the same productivity than Joe Mixon? I don't think so, Dale. So I think it's gonna be tough to replace. I understand you didn't want to give him that bigger bag or whatever, but at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be hard to replace Joe Mixon, especially this upcoming season.
Yeah, I agree. I think might right now they might not see it, but Joe Mixon is a fucking
Yeah,
beast, and I know
come week 8 and on, especially the second half of the season, they're gonna miss him.
yeah, and rightfully so. He wanted his bag, which he deserved, but
In
they just couldn't.
Texas, no state tax.
Yeah, they just couldn't pay him. Let's talk about one of the teams that I thought gets an A+ for me, the Eagles.
Yeah.
We'll start with extending Landon Dickerson, Pro Bowler, base value $84 million. He could get up to $87 million, total guaranteed $50. He gets $20 million signing bonus. Makes him the highest paid guard in NFL history. It was his last year on his deal, so they signed their guard Lander Dickerson for 4 more years. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like we said earlier, they signed Brees Huff, 3 years, $51.1 million deal. It makes Huff the highest paid non-QB undrafted free agent in NFL history. So the Jets had him right in the building. They signed him. They're not done. They signed Giants running back Saquon Barkley, 3 years, $37.75 million. Could be worth up to $46 million. $26 million fully guaranteed at signing. He now beats the franchise tag and, has a maximum average per salary of $15.8 million a year, which would be the second highest for a running back in NFL history. They also signed former Patriots Devontae Parker, 1 year, $4.69 million deal. Like you said, they signed CJ Gardner-Johnson to a 3-year deal, $33 million max. Updated look. They signed Saquon. They signed Brees Hall. They signed CJ Gardner-Johnson. They signed linebacker Devin White. We'll talk about that. That he got a 1 year, but former Bucks linebacker, $7.5 million. Hold up. They will also have another trade. Seahawks are not Seahawks. Steelers are sending quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Eagles in a pick swap. Steelers get pick 98 and a 7th round pick in 2025. The Eagles get Kenny Pickett and pick number 120. It's kind of like the similar deal to what Washington got for Sam Howell. So, they get him, they get Devontae Parker, they get Kenny Pickett, they get a linebacker, Zach Braun, they get offensive lineman Matt Hennessy. And let's not forget, they get two new coordinators. They get Vic Fangio on defense, and they get offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. And they re-signed Jake Elliott to a 4-year, $24 million extension. So I mean, I love everything they did. They go out, they get a veteran linebacker, they get a backup in Kenny Pickett. It was his hometown. He's from South Jersey. He grew up an Eagle fan, so he gets to play for his home team now. They re-signed one of the best kickers. He had a 93.8% on field goals last year. So Jake Elliott, one of the best kickers. They get Devontae Parker, another little weapon. They get their running back. They get one of the best defensive ends. They get a corner. I mean, they did everything I wanted them to do. A plus, honestly, A plus for me for the Eagles.
Nah, what the Eagles was able to do on basically the first 2.5 days, they just checked every box. They're like, what do we need? What do we need to scare? They got arguably the best running back available, Saquon. They got arguably one of the best linebackers available in Bryce Hall. You got one of the best cornerbacks available, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You ended up letting Mariota go. You get I'm gonna say a pretty good backup quarterback.
Kenny Pickett's better than Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I agree with that though. So you upgrade. It seemed like they upgraded in every position that they ended up signing. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is better than Blackberry at the corner position. Saquon is an upgrade over Swift. Hall is upgraded than everybody they had at the linebacker position last year. So it was just great signings by, I think it's what the GM is, Howie Roseman. So give credit to Howie Roseman for just doing an amazing job that I think the Eagles are buying to compete for another NFL. Well, back to the Super Bowl.
I mean, what they did was just insane, kid. Like, and to be honest, I know we'll talk about running backs a little more as we dive into each team, but I don't mind the money. I was reading an article and I was reading like a graph. Basically, it was saying how, the way the market is and the cap going up, it's not as bad. And when we look down the road, we're going to be like, oh, they really didn't get paid all that much. So Saquon specifically, are you mad that they gave him his money? Because he waited out, he got tagged, and he got what he wanted.
Nah, Dale, at the end of the day, Saquon we just got to go what he honestly signed for. Not incentives, he got 3 years, 38, 25 fully guaranteed. So initially, this is just a 3-year deal, $25 million. That's what he got. That's what he got for sure. If he plays out the contract, he's going to end up with about 38 million. And if he hits those incentives, he could possibly end up with like 45 deal. For basically guaranteeing $25 million, basically the deal is a 2-year, $25 million deal. That's what it basically is. I think that's a steal.
Yeah, I
think that's a deal.
I do too. And a lot of people are like, you're dead to me. First of all, I want to bring that up too. The whole Tiki Barber thing. You're a clown. You're a clown, Tiki Barber, because what you did and how you acted in free agency, and weren't you the guy who came out and said people should get their money? I'm not going to be committed to a team long term. And I've heard a lot of bad stories about how shitty Tiki Barber actually was to his teammates. You've never heard one bad thing about Saquon. He just wanted his money. You can't fault a guy for that. And he has not alliance, but he has ties to the state of Pennsylvania. He played at Penn State, so I don't want to hear anything. And honestly, talking to Giant fans, I think Saquon's more loved than Tiki Barber. So if I'm being honest, that's a bad take. And for someone that hated the media, you're doing, and now that's in the media, you're doing exactly what you said you hated. So you're a hypocrite, you're a clown, and I didn't like the take that Tiki Barber did. I had to say that because, he's a guy living in Jersey. He gets paid. He's on the radio, and he just says bad takes, I think. I don't even think Tiki Barber was all that good, if I'm being honest. Not even just to attack his personal career, but, like, just as a guy, like, why would you even say that? Like, why would you get mad at a fellow Giant running back for going to get his money? Why? Because he went to a divisional rival? Who cares? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to say that. He's a clown to me.
I respect everything you just said. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I could care less, Tiki. One thing I can honestly say is why the Giants ain't pay him. Y'all made him play on a franchise tag, 2 years straight? A year? I know last year he was on a franchise tag. So why would I be loyal to a team who didn't want to give me a long-term deal last year and clearly don't want to give me a long-term deal this year, I'm out. And if I have a
Yeah.
chance, guess what? I'm a, I'm gonna sign with somebody 60 miles down the turnpike with the
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm gonna see you twice a year, and I'm gonna give you touchdowns twice a year. I'm gonna give
And
you 100
correct
yards twice a year.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Giants refuse to pay Tiki Barber as well?
I don't
So
remember though. I don't honestly
So,
don't
but
remember.
like that's my thing. Like you say they say these things, but you didn't get paid either. So how is that? How does that come as a surprise? I don't know. That just rubbed me the wrong way. Like I guess us being in like media now and having takes like that. I just think that's a bad take. I
Yeah.
think like that's just stupid to me. But anyway, let's go to Saints. Let's go down by the bayou. They really didn't do much. They reworked the final year of Demario Davis. Another homegrown guy the Jets let go. Demario Davis, they reworked his final year of his deal. He had no guarantees. They replaced it with a 2-year, $17.25 million deal. It includes $13 million guaranteed. So they reworked it, freed up some cap space, and they gave him some guaranteed to, one of the best linebackers in the league.
Yeah, like you said, Saints didn't really do much. They released Michael Thomas. So I'm curious what he's gonna end up doing. I think he's still got some legs left in him. So I'm just curious what they're gonna do. They got Derek Carr at the helm. They got Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara is still pretty good back. So offensively, they just got to get it together. I just want to see what they're gonna do to secure that side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, deal. Because offensively,
Yeah.
my opinion, they're fine. You got
Yeah.
Rashid, got Olave, got Kamara, and Derek Carr. At times, he's pretty good. At times. And
Yeah.
shout out Jameis. He ended up going to Cleveland. I think he might get some playing time in Cleveland because Deshaun, it's up and down.
Yeah, 100%. So love that. Let's go to the Bills. Let's go back to the AFC. 3-time Pro Bowler Deion Dawkins. He signed a 3-year deal, $60.5 million guaranteed. It's expected to make Dawkins the 4th highest paid tackle in the league. Still don't like him. That's the guy I was talking shit about the Jets. He got his back. He is good. I'll give him that. He's good. He's good. He got his money. That's all.
He had a Vlad TV interview with no shirt. He
he's crazy. Yeah, I know. They also got some help for Josh Allen. They signed receiver Matt Collins from the Falcons. They also signed Curtis Samuel, ex-Redskin, through a 3-year, $24 million deal, $15 million guaranteed. So they got a little more weapons for Josh Allen.
Yeah, they ended up losing Gabe Davis. I think he was arguably one of the best second options wide receiver wise in the NFL, just because Stephon Diggs applied so much pressure, and then Gabe Davis, he was just it'll be games he'll get no catches, and then it'll be a game he'll get 6 catches for $140 and 2 touchdowns. So he's either have an on game or an off game. So can those two guys replace the productivity that Gabe Davis is doing? Absolutely. Hollins, he's pretty good, and then Curtis Samuel, he's just been steady, pretty good wide receiver his whole career. So at 3 years, basically $8 million a season, I think they got a great deal on Curtis Samuel. And then with Hollins, sky's the limit. As long as they take that pressure out of Stephon Diggs, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think they needed to give them some help, and they shore up their left side of the line as well with Deion Dawkins. Let's go to another team that I admit I was wrong. I swung and I missed hard. They finished last. The Bears, I thought they would make the playoffs last year. I swung and missed, but this year they're back. They're gonna make the playoffs. I guarantee that this year. And they're back. I love what they fucking have done. They signed DeAndre Swift 3 years, $24 million, $15 million guaranteed. They get a tight end and a little underrated tight end, I would say, from the Chargers. Gerald Everett, 2 years, $12 million deal. They trade for Keenan Allen. I mean, what they did, they also got safety Kevin Byard from the Eagles. They got a center, Coleman Shelton. They got a defensive back, Jonathan Owens. And they also own the number 1 and number 9 overall pick in, I think, about 40 days. So I love what the Bears have done. They're back.
And they re-signed Jermaine Johnson.
Exactly.
So, I can honestly say this. I'm going to disagree with
They're going to be better. They're going to be better.
There you go. Dylan gets a little carried away from himself a little sometimes, people. I'm gonna disagree what he first said, but I'm gonna agree what he just said.
They're not back.
They will be better. They
Okay.
will be much better, Dill. I like
Okay.
the Swift. I don't love it, but I like it. I like the fact that they short on the defensive side of the ball. They brought in Keenan Allen. Yeah, I understand Keenan Allen's 31 years old, but I can honestly say last season one of the best seasons of his career. So
Yeah.
I think Keenan Allen, if healthy, with alongside with DJ Moore, is it gonna be Williams? Is it gonna be Daniels? Is it gonna be Justin? If it's Justin Fields, Dill, I think Justin
I
Fields.
just can we talk about that real quickie because
Yeah.
everyone in the locker room wants Justin Fields. They've come out and they said we believe in Justin. Now, if you, I don't think it would be helpful or positive if you go and draft Caleb Williams at number 1.
Dill.
I really don't think you could start the season with both quarterbacks.
No,
I really don't.
I agree with that, but Dill, one thing I could honestly say is, what did the same Bears team do? What 7, 8 years ago? What did they do? They
What?
drafted Mitchell Trubisky
Yeah.
over Deshaun Watson. Say what you want to say with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson 4 years ago was Deshaun fucking Watson.
Different ownership, different, not ownership, different GM. So
I know,
I get it.
But Dill,
I know.
They drafted Mitchell Trubisky over
know.
Deshaun Watson and who else? Patrick Mahomes.
I know.
I'm gonna repeat that once again. The Chicago Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
And I guarantee
you don't think that lingers around the front office?
Oh, of course it does. And that's why I think they are going to draft Caleb Williams, because you just can't let it go. They can't let a talent like this just just pass them by, because it already did. Patrick Mahomes already had an opportunity to play in Chicago. Now, whether he would have succeeded like he did in Kansas City and continues to do, that's neither here or there, but it still was fucking Patrick Mahomes, and you're better off getting Deshaun Watson as well. Like, anyway,
I just out my mouth. That's all I let you know, dude.
I just don't think it would be good for the locker room. I don't think it would be good for Justin Fields.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Though I don't disagree with you. If I had the number 1 pick, I'm trading back to number 3, number 4. I'm taking Marvin Harrison. That's just me. But
so you don't believe in Caleb Williams?
No, you putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm asking a question.
In 2024, Justin Fields and Caleb Williams will have very similar seasons. In 2024, Caleb Williams won't be much better than Justin Fields. 2-3 years from now, Caleb Williams will be better than Justin Fields 100%, maybe 200%. But in 2024, you're not about to tell me Caleb Williams as a rookie is going to have a better season than Justin Fields will in his 4th year in the NFL. It's still
about 4 years ago, maybe, or even later than that, I would agree. I'd be like, yeah, a rookie coming in would not have the experience, the poise, and the success that Justin Fields could have. I would agree with you back in the day. Now, seeing what quarterbacks are coming out of college, look what we just saw in CJ Stroud, bringing them from the worst team to the best team in just 1 year.
Bryce Young.
Yes, but this is a better situation. He has Keenan Allen. He has DJ Moore. He has Gerald Everett. He has DeAndre Swift. This is a much different situation than Carolina.
But wouldn't that also work for Justin Fields? That's my whole point.
I agree. I just don't think the front office wants to take that chance because their jobs are on the line in this draft.
I agree, though. That's my whole point. If I had to make the decision, I'm sticking with Justin Fields.
And what if he stays average? What if he continues to just plateau? And the best that we saw was kind of last year, where he's an average quarterback. He can't get you over that hump. And now what if Caleb Williams is in Washington and he's lighting it up? Now you're sitting back in another situation where you're like, damn, we just let go another generational quarterback. That's twice in a matter of 5-6 years?
That could be 3 times. They all could say the same thing about them last year, trading away the first overall pick instead of drafting CJ Stroud.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what. All I'm saying is, Justin Fields, Posse will have a better 2024 season. All I'm saying is, I'm gonna say this one last time. This team drafted Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. That's why they're taking Caleb Williams still. That I'm telling you what they're gonna do. I'm telling you what I would do. I
Yeah.
would trade back and ride it out with Justin Fields one more season. Worst case scenario, guess what I'm gonna be? Top 5 pick once again. Boo hoo.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't understand it.
Gun to your head, not what you would do. What do you think the Bears will do? We're 40 days away from the draft. Do you think Justin Fields will be on the Bears, or do you think they will trade him?
Trade Justin Fields for a 4th, 5th round pick to either the Jets
Wow.
or the Patriots, somewhere in the AFC.
You think Justin Fields only goes for a 4th rounder?
I feel like you can't let Caleb Williams and Justin Fields be on the same team. So if I'm the Chicago Bears, whatever offer I have day of, that's what I take.
Yeah.
That's what
I do want to. A tweet just came in from Courtney Corner. She is a reporter for ESPN Radio in the Chicago area. She just tweeted. This has to do with the Bears. Keenan Allen was on the phone with his agent all day Thursday when the Bears called the process on working to trade with him. Allen said there were 2 teams the Chargers would allow him to explore in the trade, the Jets and the Texans. But ultimately, it ended up with Chicago after the Bears sent the 4th rounder to the Chargers. So at least the Jets were on the phone trying to make some moves, because I was like, we'll talk about it when we get to the Chargers, but a 4th round pick for Keenan Allen. I'm sitting there like, the Jets got 4th rounders. Well, what are we doing? So it kind of irked me that happened, but I just wanted a little clarification. But yeah, back to the Justin Fields thing. I agree. They can't be in the same room. It just wouldn't look good for ownership. It would have. It's just so fucking awkward as hell. And I don't think it would be beneficial to either of them, to Caleb Williams or to Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields, I know I was on record saying I would keep Justin Fields. I'm an Ohio State kid. I love him. I just think you can't pass up Caleb Williams. I think he's a generational talent.
If you didn't draft Trubisky over Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, you can. But you can't let this happen potentially happen twice in 10 years.
Can't. No, I agree 100%. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do the coming days. But as of right now, I love what the Bears have done. They're all the way back. Let's go to Minnesota. Former Texans pass rusher Jonathan Gennard, he signed a 4-year, $76 million deal, $42 million guaranteed. So they get an extra pass rush going along Will Anderson Jr. And they also get Aaron Jones. Oh, I said Will Anderson. I'm talking about the Vikings, excuse me. And they also signed running back. They get rid of Aaron Jones. Oh, no, Aaron Jones signs with them. Excuse me. Aaron Jones signs with the Vikings. It's only a 1-year, $7 million deal because Josh Jacobs winds up signing with the Packers. So they get rid of Aaron Jones. Can I ask you a serious question? And I don't even mean to be like funny, but is Josh Jacobs that much better than Aaron Jones?
He's younger. That's the only thing, Dill. To me personally, I would have kept Aaron Jones. I would have kept Aaron Jones, especially at like $7-8 million. I would have given him at least a 3-year deal, 21 mil. But Josh Jacobs still. Let's just not forget, Dill. 2 seasons ago, he led the NFL in rushing. He's younger than Aaron Jones. And let's just be real, Dill. Behind that offensive line, which is a pretty good offensive line in Green Bay, I'm not saying Aaron Jones couldn't. Josh Jacobs is gonna get some holes on the offensive line, so I looked at it like they wanted a running back for the future, and Josh Jacobs. I just feel like they don't believe Aaron Jones has 2-3 years left in the tank. We know Josh Jacobs has 3-4 years left in the tank. I personally think Aaron Jones still have a couple years left in the tank, but
I do too.
I'm just surprised, to Green Bay didn't really offer him a sheet. And then he only got a 1-year deal for Minnesota. So I don't know if it's just the running back market or whatever it is. They're just not paying these guys or giving them long-term deals just because he's a little older deal. I don't know what it is, but even like Derrick Henry only got a 2-year deal because he's 30 plus years of
Well,
age
that
as
one I
well.
understand, but Aaron Jones, I feel like him with AJ Dillon, the combo that they had, I always felt like the Green Bay Packers had a solidified run game. I I,
Still, you saw
I
me the
get it.
other.
I get he's a little younger. My fault. Yeah, I get he's a little younger, but I don't know. I
That's my
really
only
don't
thing.
understand. I really don't understand it. I don't think they're too much different. Honestly, I think people could make an argument Aaron Jones is better than Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I,
He
I,
had one good year. He got paid. Josh Jacobs got paid for that one good year 2 years ago. That's what he got paid for.
yeah, you could say that, Dill. But A- Aaron Jones, let's not forget, people. When he came back from injury, he had 4 or 5 straight hundred
He
yard
was a
games,
beast.
including the playoff games as well. You saw what he did
Yeah.
against Dallas. We saw what they
Oh,
did against to head into the playoffs. And let's not forget, people, Josh Jacobs coming off an injury, not a major injury like a surgery or
yeah.
anything, but he is coming off an injury while you have Aaron Jones who came off the field healthy. So,
Yeah.
me personally, I would have kept Aaron Jones, but Josh Jacobs is not to laugh at.
Let's go to Tennessee. Speaking of running backs, they give Cowboy former running back Tony Pollard 3 years, $24 million. He leaves Dallas after 5 seasons. He accumulated 4,940 total yards. He had 28 touchdowns. Now he joins second-year running back out of Tulane, Tajay Spears. And then the next day, they go and sign Calvin Ridley. Apparently, you guys made a strong push for Calvin Ridley, but he winds up ultimately signing with Tennessee 4 years, $92 million, $50 million guaranteed. They get a new head coach in Brian Callahan. They got their quarterback, Will Levis. They got their two-headed running back in Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. They got two good receivers in Calvin Ridley and D-Hop. They got a tight end in Okuanu as well. This offense is coming along.
Yeah, Dill, I like the moves they made. Calvin really, at times, top 10, top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. I don't like what they were doing last year in Jacksonville. I'm going to say it was a little bit of Dougie P, a little bit of Trevor Lawrence. I just feel like Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, where Travis Etienne were more the number one, number two, number
Yeah.
three options, and Calvin really was kind of in the mix of it. With Will Levis in Tennessee, I think Calvin really will get a much more targets in Tennessee. I also like the addition of Tony Pollard. Dale, you got Spears, you got Tony, you got two quick guys who could catch it and run it from the backfield. Can they replace Derrick Henry with production? I would like to see that, but Dale, I like the fact that they're helping the young quarterback. You get
Yeah.
him another running back, and you get him a stud wide receiver. That's gonna help his development.
100%. I agree. I mean, that's what's so you need to do that with a rookie quarterback, especially in the rookie contract. When you have him cheap, you need to surround him with pieces to
and
thrive and to
and he's
succeed.
really cheap. Let's not forget, people. He's a
Yeah,
second round pick. It's not like he's getting,
exactly.
18, $20 million like first or top 5, top 10 pick. So
My worry with just the one signing is I just really hope Tony Pollard, one, doesn't get hurt, and two, doesn't have the year he did last year. He just what were we talking about? He couldn't get in the end zone for like the first 8-9 games, kid. It was insane.
no, Dill, I understand, Dill. But let's not forget, Tony Pollard was coming off an injury, Dill. I think this season he'll be a little more healthier now. He'll be like you said, the first 8 weeks of the season he couldn't really get in. At the end of the season, he started to get in, Dill, because he got a little more healthier. He got his legs underneath him. Remember,
All
he
right.
broke his leg in the NFC division round against the 49ers in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, no,
So,
I get it. Let's go to the Raiders. They released a lot of guys. They released Jimmy G. They released Brian Hoyer. They released Hunter Renfro. They released defensive tackle Jerry Tillery as well. And the only thing they really signed was defensive tackle. I think he's going to be a beast, though. Christian Watkins, former Dolphin defensive tackle, 4 years, 110 million, 84 guaranteed with the Raiders. Really gonna him and Max. Now they can't double team Max Crosby.
Crosby. That was the whole point of this deal.
Yeah.
Letting Max Crosby get a little more one-on-ones. Some
Yeah.
people saying, they overpaid a little bit for Christian.
They probably did.
They probably did, people, but let's not forget they took him away from a pretty good team in the Dolphins, and they brought him to them. You know why?
Yeah.
And Tony Pierce, he knows the division. You got
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. Let's see what Denver is gonna do. But he knows the only way he's gonna be able to win is defensively. They
Great
won
point.
last year in Kansas City, defensive side of the ball. You know, you
Yeah.
had Aiden or Adam O'Connell last year at the quarterback position. Deal. He wasn't giving you too much. You know you're gonna have to shut it down defensively. You know you're gonna have that side of the ball basically lead your team. Why not secure it with Wilkins? You know, you
Yeah.
have him, you have Crosby, you got the young bulls in the secondary deal. The Raiders are they're doing what Antonio Pierce wants to do, and it's play
Yeah.
tough, no, hard nosed football. And how you do that? You have one of the baddest defensive lines in all the league.
Yeah, and we've seen the record Patty Mahomes against the Raiders. He just dominates every team in that division. And I agree. I thought that was a great point. They need to apply pressure, and that's what they're doing. I love the move. Yeah, they might have overpaid him a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, unfortunately. But yeah, I do like that signing. Let's go to the Jaguars. You just mentioned them with Dougie P. You know, they did sign Gabe Davis from the Bills, 3 years, $39 million. They basically replaced Calvin Ridley, $11 million at signing. And then sneakily yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, you know, 49ers couldn't keep one of their best defensive linemen in Eric Armstead. And, you know, the market was high for him. He's one of the best. And it was surprising because they needed to get under the cap. They wind up releasing him. They couldn't get a deal done or restructure his deal. They wind up letting him go. And here comes the Jaguars. They come in 3 years, $51 million. I love that signing. Two good signings for the Jaguars.
Yeah, and let's not forget they also got that long term deal done with their stud Josh Allen. So they definitely
Oh, yeah.
added on the defensive side of the ball. You know, got to keep Josh Allen. You know what he's capable of doing. Now you bring a guy like Armstead to shore up that defensive side of the ball deal. We know what Trevor Lawrence could be. You know, we saw them. You know, he ended up getting hurt down the road and end of the stretch of the season, but he wasn't really playing great football either. Now you stir up that side of the football. You got Travis Etienne. You got Christian Kirk coming back. You signed Gabriel Davis. You know, I don't think you still got Evan Ingram. I just feel like Jacksonville, especially with the emergence of CJ Stroud and the Texans,
Mm-hmm.
what Anthony Richards could possibly be in Indianapolis. Still, I just feel like they need to ensure that side of the ball because Trevor Lawrence is gonna put up points. It's just could your defense slow down CJ? Could they slow down Anthony Richardson deal? So that's what I feel like they're gonna have to do. They gotta ensure that side of the ball a little more, just
Yeah.
because offensively they'll be just fine. But if the opponents are putting up 24, 28 plus points, it's gonna be hard to overcome.
Yeah, their defense is what struggled them last year. Offensively, they have weapons. So, yeah, I agree. Let's go to the Rams. They signed free agent tight end Colby Parkinson, 3-year deal, $22 million, $15 million guaranteed. But before that, he played at Stanford in California. He attended Oaks Christian School in Westlake Village in California, which is right down the road from the Rams training complex. So he gets to go home and play for his home team. They get their tight end. They also signed Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. He is suspended the first 2 games for PEDs, which didn't help. I don't know how. Never mind. I was gonna make a bad joke. Yeah. So they get their backup quarterback. They get a tight end, and then I think obviously the biggest announcement, thankfully for all the offensive linemen, but unfortunately for us as fans, Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald has announced his retirement. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer, best defensive tackle I've ever seen in my life. I just want to read you his resume real quick. 2024 Defensive Rookie of the Year. He made the Pro Bowl. 2025 First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl.
2014, 2015. You said 24, 25.
Oh, my fault. Jeez. 2014 Defensive Rookie of the Year Pro Bowl. 2015 First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. 2016 First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. 2017 Defensive Player of the Year First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. 2018 Defensive Player of the Year First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. 2019 First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. 2020 Defensive Player of the Year First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. 2021 First Team All-Pro Pro Bowl. Super Bowl champ. 2022 Pro Bowl, and then last year 2023 first team All-Pro and Pro Bowl. He has never missed a Pro Bowl. Him and Barry Sanders are the only 2 people in NFL history for their 10-year career that have made the Pro Bowl in every year. I mean, just based on hearing that first ballot Hall of Famer. So happy for him. He got out while the getting was good. He's good. He's been flirting with retirement for the past 2 years now. Still came back. Yeah, since he won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So he did that, and now he officially hanging the cleats up. Can't say enough good things about Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Dale, what a tremendous career. Like you said, one of the best. I think in my opinion, the best defensive tackle we've seen in our lifetime. Me and Dale both born in '95, so you can't really name two better defensive tackles than Aaron Donald. So I just want to give him his flowers on a tremendous career. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do next. He's still a very young man. Dale, I give him a shot to even return sometime late August. Dale, just because he's going to be in shape and he's still young. I think Aaron Donald's only like 31, 32 years old, if that. So just tremendous career, first ballot Hall of Fame. And I know Sean McVay, that defensive side of the ball, is punching the fucking air right now. So curious what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, Aaron Donald, one of the greatest to ever do it, just walks away.
Yeah.
Future first ballot Hall of Famer.
Players that retired, like what these players, Matthew Slater, your boy, Ryan Jensen, amazing. Fletcher Cox, Hall of Famer. Jason Kelsey, Hall of Famer. Aaron Donald, Hall of Famer. Like the NFL players that retired this offseason have been studs. All fucking big boys, too. Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, Aaron Donald, Matthew Slater, and Ryan Jensen, all massive human beings. So credit him, credit Aaron Donald, man. What a hell of a season. Hell of a fucking career. And offensive tackles, coaches, scouts, they're all clapping the air right now. They do not have to prepare for Aaron Donald anymore. Let's go to another team. I think, I know I said the Bucs are the best team still, but watch out for the Falcons. They signed Kirk Cousins 4 years, $180 million guaranteed, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed. It's $45 million per year. He's made over $230 in career earnings from his time in Washington, Minnesota, and now he signs this big deal with Atlanta. Should Cousins play out all 4 years in Atlanta, which I do think he will, he would surpass over $400 million. We need his agent because he's good. But to make that much money in the NFL is you finesse the system. Shout out Kirk Cousins.
He bet on himself, though. He never really got a long-term deal done. He was the first quarterback to start this fully guaranteed money. We saw him 1 year get, I think, a 2 or 3 year deal at $84 million, fully guaranteed deal. I think it was a 2-year deal at that, $42 million each year, fully guaranteed. So give credit to Kirk Cousins, always betting on himself. And then with the signing with the Atlanta Falcons deal, I think it puts him right there in top of the division. I think they should be minus money, if not like plus 120 to win the division alongside with Tampa Bay deal. We know the offensive repertoire Kirk Cousins is going to have in Atlanta. You got Bijan Robinson. You got Drake London. You got Kyle Pitts. You saw Kyle Pitts gave up the number 8. He said, the only thing I want in exchange is my targets a game. So that's going to be an interesting connection moving forward. Hey, fantasy players out there, watch out. Kyle Pitts might be one of the might be a productive season.
Finally.
Might be the best season in his career coming forward. We saw the connection here, Kirk Cousins and TJ Hawkinson. I said almost a TJ Houshmandzadeh from back in the day.
Wow, throwback.
Yeah, throwback, legend, Bengals. But yeah, like we saw TJ Hawkinson had one of the best careers of his career last season. Even when he got traded in the deadline the year before that, he just took off. So it's going to be exciting to see how good Atlanta and how quick are they going to be good. Is it going to go right away? Is it going to work, or is it going to take a year to get it all going? Defensive side of the ball, pretty good defense. I'm going to say top 15-ish on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, they have the potential to be a top 10 offense. It's because can they be?
So I'm looking at the odds right now. Atlanta Falcons minus 125 to win the division, plus 300 for the Buccaneers.
Damn, what?
I like plus 300. I still think overall, like
plus 180
complete, they're the most complete team, I think. Yes, they got Kirk Cousins.
Atlanta's really good on paper.
Yeah, they got Bijan Robinson. They got Drake London.
Yeah,
so go.
Defensive side of the ball is just, I'm not gonna say they loaded, but they just got
they're better.
They just got pieces there. They got
Yeah.
great pieces.
And, Drake London could definitely improve. He could take that next step with Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, you mentioned. They also signed former Bears Darnell Mooney, 3 years, $39 million, $26 million guaranteed. They also bring in Rondell Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bringing in some weapons
Traded
for.
Desmond Ritter away
Yep.
for Rondell Moore at that. So
Yeah, so they got rid of their backup. They got some pieces on offense, but offense was never really the worry. It was obviously just the quarterback because they couldn't put up points with Desmond Ritter.
yeah, but now they got depth.
Now they got depth. Now they got Kirk Cousins, who's gonna sling the fucking ball. So I love it. I do like the move, and I mean 400. I mean, this guy is the best at just creating deals. Let's go to the Packers. Like we said, they did sign Josh Jacobs. They released Aaron Jones. They gave Josh Jacobs a 4-year contract, $12 million guaranteed. Like I said, I won't harp too much on it. I really don't see too much of an upgrade, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I guess you could say Josh Jacobs is a little better. He's a little younger, a little less thread on the tires, but I liked Aaron Jones there. He reminds me of a Packer, so I don't know really how much I feel about this. I do like the move. They signed free agent safety Xavier McKinney from the Giants, 4 years, $68 million deal. I really thought I thought that was one of the guys the Giants were going to tag, but they didn't. But I do like Xavier McKinney. He shores up that secondary for the Packers.
Yeah, Dale. That was one to me. That was one of the quieter, best signings in the free agency. Xavier McKinney is a stud.
Yeah.
He just didn't get a lot of talk just because he was on a bad Giants team, Dale. But you paired him with Quad Alexandra, Dale. This might be one of the best secondaries in all of football this upcoming season, Dale.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go to the Panthers. I thought the Panthers actually had a sneaky good offseason so far. They're giving former Dolphin guard Robert Hunt 5 years, $100 million, $63 million guaranteed. Yes, they overpaid him, but they need to protect. They had to.
It's Carolina.
It's Carolina, and they need to protect Bryce Young. If you really believe in the kid, you need to protect him. He can't be running around. They get a little help on linebacker Josie Jewell, former linebacker from the Broncos. He signed a 3-year, $22 million deal. They also had a trade with the Steelers. They're sending wide receiver DeAndre Johnson to Carolina. Panthers receive DeAndre Johnson and a 7th-round pick. The Steelers receive defensive back Dante Jackson and a 6th-round pick. And they also get a pass rusher, DJ Womben from the Vikings, 2-year deal. He had 8 sacks in 15 games last season. So they're getting some help on the defensive side, and they helped protect Bryce Young. And they also got a receiver in Deontay Johnson. Thoughts on what Carolina did?
Dill, I think Carolina has quietly a really good offseason. Dill, they low key just had a silent rebuild. You let go one of the best linebackers in all of football, and Brian Burns. You trade him, get a pretty good deal out of it. He wasn't gonna give him that bag, especially during right now. You're one of the worst teams in all of football. You don't have a number 1 pick. You're gonna need something in return, Dill. I think they let go one of the best pieces, but they brought in a lot of good talent. Like you said, the guard. You got Dante Johnson. You added a couple pieces. So I feel like with Deontay Johnson, it could help Bryce Young. You still got Adam Thielen there as well. Maybe they could draft somebody in the second round to help the offense. But on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to be all right. They got some additions.
Yeah.
They got J.C. Horn. It's just, give them credit on biting the bullet and trading away Brian Burns still. That just solidified we're in a reboard. We kind of messed up last year, but we can still have a chance to make it right. So I like what they're doing. They made a lot of good small moves.
Small moves, yeah. And I do think sometimes they're going to have to overpay for guys to want to come to Carolina. Let's go to Houston. Texas, they signed former Ohio State cornerback Jeff Aduku, 1-year deal up to $6 million. They get a great punter, Chiefs former punter Tommy Townsend, 2 years, $6 million deals. I like that. Sneaky good punter. Danielle Hunter, he signed a 2-year, $40 million deal with the Texans as well. And then Joe Mixon lands the big deal, 3 years, $27 million. He gets $13 million guaranteed for the Texans. So they get their running back. They getting their receivers back. They bringing back C.J. Stroud. They get a punter, and they shored up some defensive parts as well. Thoughts on what the Texans did?
So my favorite thing was that Joe Mixon signing. We knew the Texans was going to be in the market for a running
Yeah.
back. I said Saquon. I also said Tony Pollard. Still, the fact that they were able to trade and get Joe Mixon, to me, this is a great fit. Not just a good fit, a great fit. We know what CJ was able to develop to in just his very first season, his rookie year. They were divisional champs. You
Yeah.
know, so the fact that you was able to get better this offseason, I think it speaks volumes. So let's not forget they traded away their first overall pick to draft Will Anderson last season, so they don't have a first pick this season. I think they made all the right moves they could. They got what they wanted last season in CJ and Will Anderson. Now they're just assuring it. They also signed my boy, Dalton Schultz, who I think is a pretty good tight end. They still have a pretty good wide receiver core, and now you sprinkle down on top with arguably a top 10 running back. I take it
Yeah.
all day. I think Texans got an A for their
Yeah.
offseason.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the Giants. You just mentioned them. They get that trade done with franchise pass rusher Brian Burns. I mean, the deal he got, 100
Woo!
million, crazy. I mean, ridiculous. I don't understand why they didn't trade him and at least get something for him. They just literally let him
No,
walk.
they traded. They traded.
Yeah, I get, but at the end of the day, I mean, and a lot of people think the Giants overpaid Brian Burns as well a little bit, but that defensive line, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean that I hate to admit it, but they got a good D line now. They also signed Texas running back Devin Singletary, 3 years, $16.5 million. He gets worth up to $19 million. And they also get their backup quarterback, Drew Lock, 1 year deal, $5 million, 1 year, $5 million. From everything that I'm hearing, they're live at number, what are they picking at? 6. They're 6. They're picking at number 6. And everything that I'm hearing, they're probably going to go quarterback and maybe JJ McCarthy. I don't think people in the front office in the building believe in Daniel Jones.
Still, if they go out and draft JJ McCarthy with the 6th overall pick, I'm gonna be honest, you Giants, you're something else. When 4 or 5 years ago, when you selected Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick, we were in shock. And we were told that Eli and Peyton passed off. They said, yeah, that's the guy to pick. Still, JJ McCarthy, he's good. But is he gonna be good? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. Is he going to be a solid backup? Absolutely. Is he going to be better than Daniel Jones will be? I don't think so, Dill. Let's not forget, when Daniel Jones had a healthy Saquon and he was performing pretty good, Dill, he led this team to a playoff victory in Minnesota on the road. Then they got blown out against Philadelphia. But at the end of the day, Dill, Daniel Jones was able to lead a team into the playoffs and win a game on the road. Okay, J.J. McCarthy ever do that? I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet on it, though. So if I'm the Giants, if I'm gonna draft a quarterback with the 6th overall pick, I'm either gonna try to move up a little bit to either get Caleb or like Daniels or somebody, or sit back and see if like Drake May or somebody falls to me at number 6. Still, I'm not drafting JJ McCarthy at number 6. I guarantee JJ McCarthy will be there in the 3rd or 4th round.
No way.
All right.
Everything that I've heard, like, people love the kid. People love everything
They
that
could
John
love
Hart.
the kid. They could love the kid.
I mean, he's not.
People love Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's not terrible.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. All I'm saying is, though, from my perspective, he's just gonna be a below average quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. It should be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, that's everything that I've been hearing and reading from like New York media. So let's go to the Chargers. Man, they released a lot. Like I said, they released Mike Williams. They saved about $20 million against the cap. They traded Keenan Allen to the Bears for a 4th round pick. They restructured their contract with Khalil Mack. They restructured their contract with Joey Bosa, so they're staying put. Only thing they really did sign was Gus Edwards. That he agreed on a 2-year deal. He's going to return to. So now their new offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, was the old OC for the Ravens back in the day. So he is having a little reunion with Greg Roman, but I don't really know what they're going to do offensively. They're sitting at number 5 in the draft. They got rid of their 2 receivers. Now they could land and focus on a receiver at number 5.
Still,
What can they do, E? They have to.
I want to say they have to at number 5. Still,
Who's he gonna throw to?
That's what I'm saying. Still, I don't know if you take a wide receiver at number 5.
If Marvin Harrison, I don't think so. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. falls to 5, but if he does, you have to get him. You
Absolutely, Dill. But if I'm the Chargers at number 5, Dill, I'm gonna go offensive lineman. I'm sorry, I'm going offensive lineman. Dill. At the end of the day, we saw when you have a great quarterback, you don't need to have the superstar number 1 wide receiver. We saw Patrick Mahomes go back-to-back Super Bowls without a true number 1 wide receiver, Dill. Let's just be honest. He was able to do it. I understand that's Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert is not Patrick Mahomes, people. Let me just say that. But we saw Tom Brady win 6 Super Bowl. 5 out of 7 of them, he did more with less. So I just have a feeling the Chargers are gonna revamp that offensive line, keep Justin Herbert healthy. Let's not forget, people, he was out for the remainder of the season last year. They drafted a wide receiver last year in the first round. He didn't really pan out. Hopefully, he has a much better sophomore season than we did a freshman season. I just have a feeling they're gonna have to protect Justin Herbert with the 5th overall pick. If you tell me they move down, maybe I see them go wide receiver somewhere in the teens. But 5th overall, I think they go offensive lineman.
Ooh. I just don't know what they're gonna do offensively. Then what are you gonna do with Justin Fields? You got a first year head coach and John Harbaugh. That's a tough division. So we'll see. But yeah, I wouldn't mind them going offensive line either. But they need to do something at 5. Maybe they even trade up. So be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, no more Mike Williams, no more Keenan Allen. So we'll see who Justin Herbert winds up throwing to. Let's go to the Redskins. They get their running back, Austin Eckler. He signs a 2-year deal with the Commies. He rejoins former Charger head coach Anthony Lynn. So they had a really good first day. They signed linebacker Frankie Luva. They get Austin Eckler. They get a defensive end, DeAndre Armstrong Jr. They get a guard in Tyler Bisdale. They get another guard in Nick Algieri. They get a kicker in Brandon McManus. They also get a Marcus Mariota. He signs a 1-year deal could be worth to $6 million. So they get their backup. Like I said, they traded Sam Howell. So I like what the Redskins have done. They got their running back. They got some help on the defensive side of the ball. They helped their offensive line as well, and they get their backup and replace Sam Howell.
Yeah, Dale.
And
you know what? Go.
I was just going to say, now they could focus number 2 on their quarterback, who they're going to draft.
Yeah, number 2, definitely going with the quarterback, Dale. I think the Washington Commanders had a quietly good free agency, Dale. I think Austin Eckler, he got underpaid, Dale. I think they got a steal for Austin Eckler, who could, run it as well. He could catch it from the backfield. He's a dual threat, 1,000+ scrimmage yards a season. He can lock that in if healthy. I think especially when you bring in a rookie quarterback or just a young quarterback in general, Dill, you're gonna need somebody who could do a lot for you, especially out the backfield. So I think Austin Eckler was a great signing. You still got Scary Terry, who's a fucking beast on the outside, Dill. You still got Logan Thomas, big tight end at the tight end position. So I like what they were able to do. And now the question is, are they gonna move up? Are they gonna stay put? Are they gonna get Caleb? They're gonna get Daniels. They're gonna get Drake May. Who knows? But Dill, if I'm a Washington Commander fan, I'm feeling excited for this upcoming season.
Yeah, 100%. I like what they did. And slow and steady wins the race, and I really do think they're gonna go get a nice. I think they're gonna get Jalen Daniels at number 2 if they can't move up. So we will see. Let's go to the Dolphins. They lost some guys that they just couldn't pay anymore. Christian Wilkinson that I discussed. But they did get a linebacker, former Seahawks linebacker Jordan Brooks. He agreed to a 3-year, $30 million deal. They get Shaq Barrett from the Buccaneers. He got a 1-year deal worth up to $9 million. They get a safety from the Bills in division. Jordan Poyer signs a 1-year deal with the Bills, and they get low key, I think, one of the best corners that was a free agent in the middle of the night. They get Kendall Fuller from the Redskins, a 2-year deal, $16 million. So they really helped their defensive side of the ball. That's all they did. They got a linebacker. They got 2 linebackers and 2 people in the secondary.
Who?
Who?
No, no. What team again? I definitely
Oh, the
forgot.
Dolphins. The
The
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Yeah. Dale, to me, when you could add Wendell Fuller to the team is a great signing. You know, at the end of the day, Dolphins, they're right in the middle of it. Do I like their chances upcoming season? Dale, you still got Jalen Waddle, you still got Tyreek. To me, you lose one of the best defensive players in Watkins. You still got Bradley Chubb. You still got some Cephas. As of right now, Xavier Howard is a free agent. Still got Jalen Ramsey, but they got Waller on the Fuller on the opposite side. Quietly, deal they had a good free agency deal, but do I love their chances moving forward? To me, they didn't really make a big splash. At the end of the day, Miami's going to be pretty good, deal. But to me, they
Yeah.
lost one of their best defensive players in Watkins. So can their defensive front bring that pressure? Because we saw late in the season, especially in the playoff game, and then that the 2 games against Buffalo, really they weren't able to bring any pressure to Josh
Yeah.
Allen. So to me, it's what they're going to be able to do in the draft to ensure that the defensive line, especially letting Watkins walk out of the building.
Let's go to the Ravens. Like you mentioned earlier, they get, this guy, Derrick Henry, he signs a 2-year deal, $16 million, could get up to 20. He has $9 million guaranteed the first year with the Baltimore Ravens. They tried to trade for him last season. Now they get their guy. One of those guys like in the offseason when they sign with the team and you're just like, that's like a perfect fit. Like, I feel like Derrick Henry is a perfect fit for the Ravens. Ends his tenure in Tennessee after 8 seasons, over 2,000 carries. He's rushed for over 9,500 yards, 90 rushing touchdowns. He was the Offensive Player of the Year in 2020, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL rusher leader, 2-time NFL rushing touchdown leader, and he tied the NFL record with 6 games of 200-plus yards per game. So, amazing move there. They get their running back. They lose Gus Edwards, but they do get Derrick Henry. They also they've agreed with All-Pro left tackle Ronnie Stanley. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. They reworked his contract. He was due $15 million. They redoed his. He now plays on like a less base pay, but there's an upside to potential he could reach or surpass that number. So it's 26.2 million cap hit will be reduced. So they do work it out with Ronnie Stanley, but they get their running back. They get their guy, kid.
Yeah, to me, like you said, this was a perfect fit for Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens, just because you still got my boy Mitchell, who is lightning. You got Derrick Henry, who's the thunder, and they're still gonna have. I just hope he's able to stay healthy. J.K. Dobbins on a rookie deal as well, Dill. So you're gonna have 3 good running backs on the market. Well, on the market, on the team, Dill. And with the Ravens, they're gonna be run first. That read option, I feel bad for the division with the read option. Think about it. You're gonna have to either focus on Lamar or Derrick Henry. That's just a tough task. Half of the time they're gonna have to guess. So I I just have a feeling this was a perfect fit, match made in heaven. Dill.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this now, but with this signing, I think the Ravens, besides the Chiefs, have to be the second favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, because they really didn't lose anybody. I know Odell was on the market, but
They lost
offensively,
2 tackles. They lost 2 tackles to the Jets.
yeah, but they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine. Defensively, that's what I mean. Defensive side of the ball, the only person they lost is Patrick Queen.
They lost
Everybody,
They lost Patrick Queen and they lost Geno Stone, their safety, to the Bengals. I love how Lamar said, "You're dead to me."
yeah, like besides those two, Patrick Queen was a huge loss. Stone, pretty good, but they could replace him. Besides Patrick Queen, this team is suited and fitted to make the
Yeah.
same run once again. And in my opinion, they got even better with Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong, Mitchell, Gus Edwards, J.K. They're good. Derrick Henry is great.
Better, yeah. And I'm looking at the odds right now to come out of the AFC. Obviously, Chiefs favorite at plus 310. You're right. Ravens second at plus 475. So
Rightfully so.
rightfully so, yeah. And then third, Bills at plus 500. Then the Bengals at plus 700. Let's go to the Steelers though. You mentioned and another guy. I know I talked to all my friends in Baltimore. They knew they weren't going to be able to keep Patrick Queen, but this is a perfect fit for the Steelers. Like, if you want to talk about a linebacker that does and embodies and does everything you want him to do, this is Patrick Queen. He gets his money, 3 years, $41 million deal. I think it was one of the best signings. They also sign they get a little help for Russell Wilson. They get a wide receiver Van Jefferson on a 1-year deal. And then, like I said, they did trade Kenny Pickett to the Eagles. So yeah, they get their linebacker in Patrick Queen. I mean, perfect fit for the Steelers.
Yeah, Dale, you got Patrick Queen. You also signed Russell Wilson on a veteran minimum. I think the Steelers are poised to be back in the playoffs. I give them a small chance to win the division. It all depends. I think Baltimore could be a 12, 13 win team, honestly. But I give the Steelers a shot. We saw them able to win 10 games last season. Once again, with Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. I'm going to just say this one time. Russell Wilson had 28 passing touchdowns last season. Do you know how many Kenny Pickett had?
11, 12.
6. 6 total passing touchdowns last season. Russ gave you 28. You put that on that team, though, that may be a 12-win team.
I don't know if they'll win the division, though. They're plus 950 to win the division.
But to make the playoffs, Dale?
We'll see. We'll see. I do like it. Definitely an upgrade, and you're getting Russ on barely anything, and the Broncos are paying for most of all the money. So yeah, I think it's a great signing. I love Patrick Queen. Van Jefferson, we'll see. He's kind of past his prime as well. But yeah, we basically touched on everything. Cowboys also released Michael Gallup. That's going to save up some about $9.5 million in cap room. But new running back home: Derrick Henry to the Ravens, Aaron Jones to the Vikings, Joe Mixon to the Texans, Zach Moss to the Bengals, Saquon to the Eagles, Josh Jacobs to the Packers, Austin Eckler to the Redskins, Tony Pollard to the Titans, DeAndre Swift to the Bears, Devin Singletary to the Giants, Gus Edwards to the Chargers, and Antonio Gibson to your Patriots. And then the quarterback carousel: Jimmy Garoppolo to the Rams, Kenny Pickett to the Eagles, Sam Howell to the Seahawks, Desmond Ridder to the Cardinals, Joe Flacco to the Colts, Gardner Minshew backup for the Raiders. I think he could fight for a starting position as well. Jacoby Brissett to the Patriots going back, Sam Darnold to the Vikings, Drew Lock to the Giants, Kirk Cousins to the Falcons, Baker Mayfield stays in Tampa, Russell Wilson to the Steelers, Jameis Winston. Best signing. He went to legend. He went to the Browns. Marcus Mariota to the Redskins. Tyrod Taylor. I forgot to mention that. He went to the Jets as well. I love that signing. Mason Rudolph to the Titans, and then Mitchell Trubisky to the Bills. So overall, very, very busy week, and it's just getting started. We don't know where Justin Fields is going to go. And right now, we are 40 days away from the NFL draft. So get locked and loaded for that. Let's finally get into these plays. But before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with the active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry watching UFC this Saturday, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with the Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, okay, let's get into these plays. Let's start on the association. Got some good games. Got 9 games on the docket today. I will let you lead us off, kid. What do you got?
Yeah, they only got 4 plays on the slate today. Basically, only touching 3 games. Don't really love the slate, but we got some action for you guys. 5 o'clock start in Houston. Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Houston Rockets. Still, Cleveland Cavaliers laying 4.5 on the road. Over on the sitting at 214.5. Still, I'm gonna lay the 4.5 on the road with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know how they've been rolling. Houston, they've been playing better ball as of late, though. But I think Cleveland just gonna keep it rolling. I think they cover the 4.5 easily, -112. Marquee matchup of the day. Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Golden State as of right now +2. Over on the sitting at 233.5. Still, Steph Curry first game back from that, ankle soreness or whatever it was. Lakers losing a tough game the other night in Sacramento. They'll give me the Lakers -2 at home. I think they bounce back. They take care of business at home like they usually do. And they give me Steph Curry over 25 points and a half, over 24, 25.5 at -113. They'll understand his first game back, but nobody can guard Steph. Let's just be honest. And he's rested. I understand come back from that angel, but Steph over on the show always be around 28 to 31. And all respectfully, 25.5 is just too low, especially against the Lakers. Who's going to guard them? And then my last play of the night will be your New York Knicks taking on the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings beat on the Lakers the other night, but they won't beat up on the Knicks. Give me the New York Knicks
Let's go.
3.5. Still, for some reason, Sacramento plays their best ball against the Lakers and against these other teams, especially even
Average.
Eastern Conference, they play average brawl. So, and your boy OG Anunoby is back as well. So, give me the Knicks +3.5.
Yeah, it really helped the team, especially defensively. So, yeah, it's great to get the OG back. Julius Randle's coming back soon. I agree. I'm going to lay the 3. I got the 3. It's come down. It's gone the opposite way, which kind of worries me. But I'm going to lay it with the Lakers. I think they bounce back here. Tough loss against Sacramento the other night, but I do like him. The Lakers to bounce back. I laid the 3. I also took LeBron over 7.5 rebounds. I think he's just going to dominate the board. He had 13 the other night against Sacramento. He had 8 against Minnesota. He had 5 against Sacramento last week. And then he had 11 against OKC. So against these big teams, he comes to play. Excuse me. So over 7.5 rebounds. I do like that. And then my last prop, I'm going to go take the power forward from Charlotte. He got traded from OKC. He's a Serbian. I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Vasilin Mishik. Anyway, I'm going to take his over 17.5 points and assists combo. He's gone over this in 7 of his last 8 games, 9 of his last 10 games as a Hornet with at least 24 minutes. The only miss he did was when he only played 17 minutes. So if he gets at least 24 minutes, he's going to go over 17.5 points and assists. And he's going against a Philly team who's been bottom 8 in NBA in defense without Embiid. They struggle mightily without Embiid on the defensive side of the court. So I'm going to take his points and assists over. So those are my NBA plays and props. 4 plays for college. Like I said, I've been getting back into college conference tournament. No better time. Got how many plays? I got 4 plays as well here. We'll start with the early game, Purdue against Wisconsin. Purdue's just a fucking juggernaut. Wisconsin has a good run, but I do like Purdue minus the 5.5. UCF, South Florida, what a season they've had. Against UAB, I think I'll lay it minus 1.5 against the 3:00 game. Florida, they've really started slow in the beginning of the season. They kind of tailed off, and then they're playing really good basketball right now. I'll lay the 2.5 with Florida against Texas A&M. And then my last play of the game, give me St. Bonaventure on the money line. They're a little dog right now, plus 102 against the Dukies, St. Duke's. Or Duquesne is the school. So I'll go St. Bon's plus 102 as a short dog for conference tournament. Let's go to the Diamond. Let's continue our MLB action, the NL Central. And, kid, looking at this division, it is up for grabs. You got the St. Louis Cardinals, who had one of the worst years last year, and I could remember my history. You got the Brewers, who are always good. The Cubs, think are really good. The Reds, they're a very interesting team. And then the Pirates, they got a lot of fun teams in this division. So where do you want to start? What team you want to start with? Because right now the Cardinals are the leading team to win the division at plus 175, followed by the Cubs at plus 200, Cincinnati Reds plus 350. Well, let's start with the Brewers, because the Brewers are an interesting team. They're sitting at the 4th best odds at plus 650. They lost their coach, Craig Counsell. He goes and winds up going to a rival in the Chicago Cubs. Win totals at 76.5, 77. I see at some places. To win the division plus 700, to make the playoffs plus 290, not to make the playoffs plus 350. So let's start with the Brew Crew. Little different year for them, but how do you see them making out?
Yeah, Dale, definitely a different year for them. They're not the same Brew Crew team that once was when we were growing up. Still,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the under 77.5 wins. I have a feeling they could be mediocre. Can they get to 80? Can they be a 500 team? Absolutely, but I just have a feeling the division is gonna be tough. The NL in general is gonna be tough, but
Yeah.
I just have a feeling they're gonna be battling in the division. I just feel like some of these other teams could possibly bully them. So I'm gonna take the under 77.5 wins. I got 77.5 there, and then I'm gonna take a prayer prop there. I'm gonna take my boy Freddie Peralta under 190.5 strikeouts. Don't get me wrong. If this is Johnny 3 years ago, no disrespect, I would have took the over by a mile, deal. But at 190.5 I'm gonna say on a below average team, respectfully, I just have a feeling it's gonna be a tough task for Johnny to go over 190. So can he do it? Yes, but will he do it? I don't think so. Give me the under 77.5 total wins for the Brew Crew and Freddie Peralta under 190.5 strikeouts.
Yeah, this is their lowest win total, 76.5. I do see 77s out there, but 76.5 since 2017. They've cleared this win total in 6 of the last 7 seasons. They got rid of Corbin Burns to the Orioles in exchange for DJ Hall, Ortiz. They're promising young players. They just had a limited time playing for Baltimore because they have a loaded farm system. So I'm actually going to go on the other side. This is the only win total I took, but I do like the over 76.5. I got 76. It's at minus 120, a little chalky, but the NL Central is going to be as competitive as it was in recent years. And, the Brewers are technically, quote unquote, rebuilding, but this win total, I just think it's too low, in my opinion. I think they win anywhere from like 79 to low 80s, this season. 76 is just too low for a team that's cleared this number in 6 of its last 7 seasons. The Brewers haven't had a losing season since 2016. Maybe that streak could end this year. Excuse me, but don't be surprised if the Brewers are hovering around 500 for most of the season. So I still think they have some work to do. The pitching, they got rid of Corbin Burns, which is a head scratcher, but I do think 76.5 is a little too low. I like this offense. I think they could score some runs. I'm going to take a chance with the Brewer Crew here. I think this is a good organization. I'm going to go over 76.5 wins. Let's go to a very interesting team. The Chicago Cubs, like I said, they hired a new manager, Craig Counsell. He's plus 600 to win NL Manager of the Year. Chicago Cubs, they have won just one playoff game or playoff win since claiming the 2016 World Series. After failing to reach the playoff for the 3rd straight season, the Cubs, like I said, they get Craig Counsell from the Milwaukee Brewers. They also land a great Japanese player in Magma, his Soto Magma. Definitely butchered it, but he's a left-handed for 280 ERA. He had 174 strikeouts and 148 innings. So they also got Cody Bellinger back, 3 years, $80 million deal. So he had a really good season. I'll lead this one off, kid. I'm going to take a player prop. I'm going to take Craig Counsell to win NL Manager of the Year at plus 600. I didn't want anything to do with this division. I do think they'll sneak into the playoffs. Minus 120 to get into the playoffs. Their win total is at 84.5. I do think they could go over their win total. But I do like this plus 600 to win NL Manager of the Year. I think betting this way is just it's just a different way of betting the Cubs to have a good season. Like I said, they're plus 200, plus 185, depending on the book, to win the division. Second best odds behind the Cardinals. So if the Cubs win the division or make the playoffs, I think Craig Counsell is going to have a strong argument to win NL Manager of the Year. That's why the Cubs, they went out and got Craig Counsell. They needed a good manager. They watched him for all these years in Milwaukee. Overall, in 9 seasons in Milwaukee, he had a record of 707 and 625. So he's an above average coach. And somehow Craig Counsell has never won Coach of the Year, but I think that could change this year. Cubbies, they're very promising. I like them this year. Give me Craig Counsell to win NL Manager of the Year at plus 600.
Yo, I love the energy. Dill. With the Cubs, they're over under sitting at 84.5 wins. Dill, I'm gonna lean the over 84.5. Dill, like you said, the addition of Craig Counsell, you got the pitching, got pretty good young offensively, Dill, but I'm gonna lean the over. I'm not gonna go there officially, Dill. My only real play for this team is give me my boy Justin Steele over 160 strikeouts at minus 113. Dill. I think at 160, the number's a little low.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Justin Steele, if healthy, I think he could hover around 180 to 200 if he gets all his starts in. So I think the number is a little too low. Minus 113 at just 160. Give me the over, Justin Steele.
Yeah, love that fucking play, kid. Let's go to I keep saying it, but very interesting team, Cincinnati Reds. I like this team. Elly De La Cruz, he's a fucking phenomenal star, and I think their stock is rising. 3rd winning season in the last 4 years. They finished 82 and 80 last season. They have a talented young roster, and I think they're ready to compete in a wide open National League Central. The Reds want to finish higher than 3rd in the division for the first time since 2012. Division plus 340. I even see plus 400s. Win total over 82.5 to make the playoffs plus 155. I'm going to take them to win the division. I got it at plus 400. I'm going to go over the win total 82.5. And my favorite play is Elly De La Cruz over 39.5 steals. Only 4 players are listed in the stolen base betting market. And of course, Elly De La Cruz made the cut. Elly De La Cruz, he was electric on the base path as a rookie last season. He had 35 stolen bases in 98 games. According to Baseball Savant, he led the majors with a sprint speed of 30.5 miles feet per second. So Elly De La Cruz, he should start most days at shortstop. And, I think they're going to lean on his legs. As soon as he gets on the base pass, they're going to lean on his legs. 6 different MLB players recorded 40-plus steals last season. And for Elly De La Cruz to only get 5 more bags, and if he stays healthy, he should fly over this number. I am so surprised the number was at 39.5 when he had 35 in 98 games. I thought the number was going to be maybe 49, maybe almost 50. So I think I hammered this about a few weeks ago. Probably one of the heaviest bets in the future market I have. Over 39.5 steals for Elly De La Cruz is criminal. So I'm going to take that. I'm taking them to win. I might as well take them to make the playoffs because I got them winning the division at plus 400, over 82.5 wins, and I got them to make the playoffs. This is my team to win. This is my dark horse team.
Yeah, Dill, I love the energy you're giving out, Dill. I'm not gonna go as far as you, Dill, but I did say sprinkle at plus 350 to win the division, over 81.5 wins at minus 120. The team won 82 last year, and I think they'll be improving. Honestly, I think this team will easily win 85. I'll give them a chance to win 90 games still, but I think they will improve from last season. They won 82. I give them at least a 5-game bump. I'm gonna say 87 wins. And then, like you said, Cruz over. I got 40.5 Dill. The number is just disrespectful. You got, like you said, over 30 in just not under 100 games last season. I think if he just plays about 130, he goes over this mark. Even 120, he goes over this mark, Dill. So sprinkle on the division at plus 350, over 81.5 at minus 120, and then Cruz over stolen bases 40.5.
Oh, so it went up just one, but because I placed the bet in the beginning of March, so about maybe 2 weeks ago.
I just did mine like last week during the week, like Monday, I say.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I like this team. They're a few years away, but they're, they got some young guys. O'Neal Cruz, he's fucking fantastic. I just worry about the pitching. I really worry about the pitching with this team. They haven't posted a winning season since 2018. They haven't finished higher than 4th in the NL Central since 2016. This team last in playoff berth since 2015. Their last playoff berth since 2015. Their last playoff victory was 2013. Not going to touch the division, the win total, or the playoffs. I actually think they'll go under 74.5 wins, if I'm being honest. But a fun prop that I found over at BetMGM, no free shout outs, but I found a fun prop that I like. O'Neal Cruz to finish with more home runs than Ella De La Cruz of the Reds at plus 100. I think this is a fun market where, there are going to be head-to-head home run matchups in the market. And I like this one. Two young studs in the same division. Both players have plenty of hype. But De La Cruz, he just hit 13 home runs, and underlining metrics show that the switch hitter is much better hitting left on the left-hand side than the right hand. The difference in swing speed is about 2 miles per hour. As for O'Neal Cruz in Pittsburgh, he played just 9 games last year. He got hurt. He hit 17 home runs in 87 games. He offers plenty of power. He's 6'7", and he ranked in the top 9% of the league in average exit velocity in 2013 when he was healthy. So there are question marks for both players. I think O'Neal Cruz coming off of injury, I think there's a little more upside to him. And at plus 100 compared to minus 130 for Ella De La Cruz, which he's not much of a power hitter, O'Neal Cruz is. I'll take a shot on O'Neal Cruz to have a nice bounce back here after injury, especially at even money.
Yeah, Dale, I agree with that. That's really my only bet. I'm be honest, Dale. I lean the over. I got 75.5. I lean the over. I give a shot. But at the end of the day, it's the Pirates at the end. And they won the best home ballpark in all of baseball. So shout out
Did
to the
see
Pirates.
that. It's beautiful, right on the water.
Yeah, I want to go, honestly. And then, Dale, I'm going to take a shot on the kid. I got O'Neal Cruz over 24.5 home runs, still. Like you said last year, he's coming back from injury. I think he had like a 90 or 100 plate appearances. He has like 13 home runs, something like that. If the kid just goes at that pace, he'll go over this number easily. Barring injury, give me the over 24.5 home runs.
Yeah, kid. I think the way he got hurt too is just crazy. He got hurt by sliding. So just learn to slide, kid. Learn to slide and we're gonna be all right. But yeah, I think we see a big bounce back season from O'Neal Cruz. Let's see if we can get a bounce back from the Cardinals. They are the leading plus 185 to win the division. Win totals at 84.5. Make the playoffs minus 105, not to make the playoffs, minus 115. I got a player prop. I'm not going to touch the thing. I'm not high. I'm going to fade the Cardinals this year. I just don't like what they've done. I don't think they're going to have a bounce back season. I think they're going to miss the playoffs again. I have a play that I like, though, and I'm going to new addition Sonny Gray. They tried to upgrade. They tried to upgrade their pitching staff, but he's already hurt. I got under 170.5 strikeouts. The Cardinals ranked 29th in the league last year in strikeouts. So adding Gray, they got Kyle Gibson, they got Lance Lynn. That's kind of been the priority for the Cardinals, getting help in their rotation. But Gray, he only had 183 strikeouts last season, and it's essential for the Cardinals for them to stay on top of the division if he's healthy. He's not. He also adopted, quote unquote, a sweeper. Whatever the fuck a sweeper is, it's a slider. Or it's a curveball. I don't know what the fuck a sweeper is, but he apparently developed one last year. It's more of like a cutter too, if I'm being honest. But it led to his best strikeout total since punching in since 2019, where he had 205 strikeouts. But he's only cleared this mark 3 times in the last 11 years. I personally don't think he'll do it 2 years in a row. He's already hurt. Gray's addition should boost the rotation when he gets back, but projecting him to do much better than he did last year would be a little too optimistic for me. I'm going to dive under here. I'm going to dive them not to make the playoffs. I'm just going to fade the Cardinals this season. I'm not a fan.
Still, I'm going to be honest. I respect everything you're saying just because, he was on them last season. To be honest, I don't know why they're favorite to win the division, especially what we saw last season.
On name recognition, they're the Cardinals.
Yeah, they're the Cardinals. You got some all-star names. You got Nolan, got Goldschmidt. You got somewhat of a good pitching staff. Still, it's just I don't know how could he bounce back. Like you said, the key word in this bounce back. Could they bounce back from what they didn't accomplish last season? I don't know, Dill. I'm gonna just go with Nolan Alvarado over 26.5 home runs at minus 113. I feel like this number is short, especially if he's healthy throughout the season. I think he's 30 plus all day, honestly. And then Goldschmidt, his over under is pretty short on home runs as well at 25.5 at -120. I like both of them to go over, Dill, if healthy. Both could be easily 30 plus home runs. I even give Goldschmidt a shot at the title. Give him somewhere plus, around like 38 to 40 something. It all depends if they're healthy or not, Dill. But I like I said, I sprinkle on the Reds to win the division. I don't trust the Cardinals coming off last season. Those will be my two bets. Arenado over 26.5 home runs, and then Goldschmidt over 25.5 home runs.
I love it, kid. I love it. Thank you so much. That's gonna do that for the NL Central, and then last division we got to take care of before
Last
opening
but not
day.
least,
The NL West, lots to talk about over there with the Dodgers. You got the Padres, Diamondbacks, maybe going back to the World Series. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Thank you for sticking with us. I know it's a little longer of an episode today, but a lot to talk about. We didn't have the Wednesday episode. That is on me. But we're good. Any last words, kid? It was a great EP. I appreciate you hanging with us.
Hopefully, this happens a lot, but I doubt it happens today. Hopefully, there's no breaking news in about 15 minutes after the podcast, because I feel like we covered everything pretty damn well.
Yeah, I agree. And that's usually how it is when we go off. Something happens within. Yeah, breaking news. Exactly. So, E, thank you so much. That is going to do it for this Saturday edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Elvis, myself, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Like I said, NL West, we'll have some more NFL news. We'll have some NBA plays, of course, as well. So make sure you guys follow along our social media, X and Instagram at The Dream Wage. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live every Wednesday and Saturday on YouTube, youtube.com/The Dream Wager. Hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review. Leave in the comments who you like this weekend on and who you are going to be betting on for the NL or for this MLB season. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.